I dress so fresh, so clean, so fresh and so clean, clean. Shout out to Outcast. This your boy Big Vern here at App Studios. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. Make sure you subscribe and also smash the like button. It goes a long way, helps the channel, and we appreciate it. Which brings us to the last segment. So, quick recap. We talked about Notre Dame getting upset by Northern Illinois. And Northern Illinois having kids who just know how to do their job. And one kid on that team, I think you'll see him on Sundays because he is a very special, dynamic player. Also, we talked about Kentucky. Kentucky got embarrassed by South Carolina at home in a game that was so bad, they were filming people leaving the stadium. I'm serious. Then we pivoted from Lexington. We talked about the good folks of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Michigan gets punked out and beat up at home in front of the world. That was hard to watch. They got dominated in every sense of the word in that thing. Jesus Christ. Then we talked about some North Carolina State. That was hard to watch. The Wolfpack, they were tame puppies. They were kitty cats. Ain't no wolf pack. Them is kitty cats. Congratulations to the Tennessee Volunteers for beating the brakes off them. Now brings us to a segment that I try to avoid covering because Deion Sanders is the most divisive guy in college football. And it's not him as a person being divisive. It's the fan base. It's the fan base that makes it hard to cover Deion Sanders. And so when you have people like that scumbag, Paul Feinbaum, him attacking the character of Deion Sanders, that's when you go too far. If you want to keep it football, you'll lose some people because let's face it, you need a villain. And the villain that Deion is, he's a very confident, over-cocky individual. And so some people want to see people who look like him get humbled. I'm being an adult about it. I'm just telling you how it is. Deion played Nebraska Saturday night. This was a horrible game. Every game that they broadcast in prime time of Deion Sanders, for the football people, we know what we're watching. The sycophants, we don't talk football with you because it'll never be about the game. I told people they don't have any continuity on an offensive line. They don't have an identity. They don't have an offense that they run consistently. They don't have a defensive identity. I don't know what you do with this. And then you put Warren Sapp on staff. I don't know what he does. I just don't know what he does. Deion Sanders himself is keeping Colorado relevant. Let me repeat that. Deion Sanders is keeping them relevant. His presence on the sideline, his affiliation with people within the hip hop culture, his affiliation with athletes. That's the buzz. It's a circus. And so if you're anybody in the Big 12 or you happen to be a team that has Deion scheduled, be gracious. And I think Matt Rule was really gracious because before he started talking on when he was on the field and his post presser, he wanted Deion's kids to be okay. Shador and the other kid. He was really praying for them and everything. And he was being gracious. Matt Rule was being gracious. But this was not a. But they said this is a rivalry. The Cornhuskers, they've owned them, and it was nothing to see. This game, it was very hard to watch because the knock on Deion and them is that they don't have anything remotely to put people at ease. I don't know how to say it other than they're not a good football team. This is a team that went 4-8 last year. Why are they getting so much press? What about Deion Sanders irritates legacy media? I don't know. I don't know where you go with that. Give me a quick 20 from an unofficial sponsor of the show, and then we'll come back and dive into this. This is Big Vern at Ab Stupid. Drop the spot. Yes, Burger King, BK, have it your way, because you rule. Order online, download the app, or visit the good folks at your local Burger King. BK, because you rule. Have it your way. I don't want to do this, but I'm going to dive into the numbers here. The Buffaloes got massacred. Now, the rushing yards tell you the story of this entire game. 16 rushing yards for the entire game. Those are the stats of a third guy on the depth chart in your running back room. That's not a total yardage for a team to have for the entire game. That's god awful. And that just goes to reinforce what we told you, is that they don't have an offensive line. They don't have an identity. They're dialing up plays that they remember running from either Jackson State or anything. You just got to say, okay, what kind of packages are you all running? You know, is this a 3-receiver set? Are we running the pro set offense, RPOs, replay? You know, what are we doing here? And they look confused at times. They look out of sorts and disheveled. And these are just football takes. This isn't a personal dig at the man. 15 first downs? You all have to do better than that. I'm not saying anything Deion Sanders doesn't know. I'm not. Third down, 14 times, you all had a chance to get the first down on third down. You all converted 4 times out of 14 chances. That's abysmal. That's abysmal. And before people sit up here and they get lulled to sleep and they think that a 28-10 and Nebraska really gave them their comeuppance, they had 12 chances at it. They only got 3 times they converted. Again, this was very hard to watch. They went for it on 4th down 3 times. They only converted it once. 7 punts for Nebraska. Again, the good folks of Lincoln. I don't know where to go with this. I'm not going to sit up here and say that a team that was 5-7 last year, somehow you all have arrived and this epiphany has popped up. Nebraska has problems in the second half where they just give up. The offense sputters out before halftime and completely stalls and dies in quarters 3 and 4. This is no secret to anybody. And what's going to prove that is that you have penalties, 12 penalties for 105 yards. What am I watching? And these are the people who won. What am I watching? Just a horrible game. This should have never been in prime time. You have one team that's not middle of the road, and then you have one team that's trying to fight their way out of a cellar. Anytime you have a football field and penalties, this isn't good football from anyone. And I know the good folks, the Cornhusker faithful, they'll go ahead and hold their head high and oh, we did this. Man, look, stop. Sit your goofy ass down. This was probably one of the worst games that had actually been on TV. Everything that Nebraska did in this game happened before halftime. After halftime, oh my God, it was it was bad. And that's where the 10 points from Colorado showed up, is after halftime. And if you're playing the UCLAs, you're playing Oregon, you're playing Ohio State, you're playing Michigan, where the guys don't give up, Nebraska could find themselves in the same situation they were last year. And again, I'm not letting Deion off the hook, because you're starting to see it play itself out. Kids with big resumes. They went to this high-powered school, football school. They did this at this academy. They're 5-star this, 4-star that, NIL this, NIL that. Compare that with kids who just fundamentally know how to play football, and they fit a coach's system. They are going to beat you because they know their job. You're not trying to manage personalities and then develop an offense around personalities. That's only worked in one genre of sports. That's college basketball. And Calipari was the architect of that system, the one and done. I'm going to get these high caliber guys all the time, and then we're just going to build around their personalities and try and create a functional offense. Sometimes that worked. A lot of times it didn't. And Deion is only replicating that on the college football side. You need to hold on to some of these guys on the O-line. Don't let them transfer. You need some continuity. Guys don't know what they look like. Guys don't know where everything is at. You had 9 penalties for 104 yards. That's a lot of movement. That's a lot of offsides. That's a lot of personal fouls. Just dumb stuff and being undisciplined and getting embarrassed. And this is why you don't want to go ahead and cover Deion Sanders. Because people think 9 times out of 10 is clickbait. But if you have something legitimate to say, it goes by the wayside. And I don't know what you can say. I don't know how to cover this guy. That's why I refrain from it. I know the deficiencies on both sides of the ball. I still see the mistakes on certain routes the guys are designed to run. Again, I see it, and I'm not cutting any excuses. It just does me no good to cover it. Give me a quick 20 from a rap album so we can get out of here. This is Big Vern.
Y'all know what we do, and you know why I'm here. We got another rap album we promoting this month. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Big Sean, out right now in stores. Better Me Than You. Get it where you legally consume music, whether it be Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. My personal favorites: Iconic, Typecast, Break the Cycle, It Is What It Is, and many more. Big Sean in stores now.
Yeah, shout out to Big Sean. Better Me Than You in stores now. Go ahead and cover it. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, when we last left off before the commercial break, again, I know what I'm looking at when I see Deion Sanders. I'm not going to get in line with the stupidity train. It is what it is. I think when he pulled Shedeur and he didn't let Shedeur get back out there, it was really for his safety. Because if you all aren't going to block any better than that, there's no need for my son to get hurt. And that's the reality. His skill set, I still say he's around 30 to 35 throws max. Anything above 35 throws, he's really going to go ahead and put too much at risk. 244 yards in the air out of 38 attempts, 23 completions, for a touchdown and an interception. He went snake eyes. That's what we call here at the pit. We call it snake eyes when you roll and you get those. The double deuce is actually 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. But yeah, again, I'm not going down that road. Hopefully Deion and them can pull this thing together. I don't think they can. I think this thing it's just who they are. It's who they are. But as always,
well, that's the show. So thank you to everybody for subscribing, sharing, and liking the content. Enjoy your afternoon and your evening. And we will be back on Wednesday. This your boy, Big Vernadab Stupid.